Hello, Hojoz here, and welcome back to the 4th season of the Cedara Fighter competition. The flight tests of the 4th season of the Cedara Fighter competition, to be precise. And today, we're licking stamps and sending them. Because not only will we have the CT SKELETOR 3B3 in this episode, we'll also have a 50 cal entry with 12 guns. But as we all know, the 50 cal doesn't really perform well. So, that'll be surely an interesting end to the episode, as it'll be at the end of the episode. But for now, we'll have to see the CT SKELETOR 3B3 fail to beat the H86 longsword, but pass flight tests. Because I have worked my ass off on this plane, and it just won't work with me. I mean, it just can't aim, and it constantly goes... Both crafts constantly go to one of the enemy, and then the other just sneaks up on them and explosions and bad things happen. And that's why I'm saying that today we'll be licking stamps and sending them, because realistically I would have scrapped the aircraft and built a new one. But just because I read one of the articles by Daniel Ricciardo, who has recently done an article about why he has gone for Renault instead of Red Bull, I feel like licking stamps and sending them, and I just feel like just entering the CT SKELETOR 3B3, originally by a Crispy Nugget but heavily modified by me, just because if you don't take a gamble, it won't pay off. Let's get this probably 1 hour episode underway with as the CT SKELETOR and the H86 longswords take off. The SKELETOR, of course, taking off first. By the way, what I love about this design is that it has a face. Just look at the cute face. It's a very cute face. It also has a lot of power and not much in the way of fuel or ammo, but it has a cute face. And let's be honest, that's all what matters with an underdog entry. A very cute face, or just a cute plane in general. And it's sometimes the underdog that wins, of course. I'm just hoping that it wins. Just because it's been very difficult to assemble this craft as the competition starts, and just because I'm now licking stamps and sending them, I just hope that this will be the winner of the competition, because how funny would that be? That or the 50 cal entry. That or the 50 cal entry. That should be the winner of this season of the Cedara fighting competition. Or the Charmanders. Come on, man. That would be so hilarious. Anyway, we're nearing engagement distance, as roughly now guns start opening up on the frontmost CT SKELETOR B3. SKELETOR 3B3, I'm sorry. And we'll have to start turning around to engage our enemies once more, as the H86 longswords will be looking to get one more victory on the CT SKELETOR 3B3 before the H86 longsword will be retired. Yes, we'll retire the H86 longsword right after this episode, because let's be honest here, not a very good craft. Anyway, it's one of the H86 longswords firing on this CT SKELETOR, because this CT SKELETOR obviously ignored the H86 longsword. Very dumb decision by the AI. But as I've been told on BDAC forums, the AI hasn't been made to make strategic decisions. We'll have to make them ourselves. So, yeah, I guess that explains everything. Anyway, it's the other SKELETOR, this teammate SKELETOR, firing on the H86 longsword, making a very nice turn to get on the tail of it. But as I've seen in testing, SKELETOR not that good at aiming. So I'll have to wonder if this will actually mean anything, as both the SKELETORs engage one of the H86 longswords, and as we've seen from past editions, very, very stupid mistake to make, as it is some more gunfire heading towards the H86 longsword, And it's the other H86 longsword obviously engaging the CT Skeletor, because let's be honest here, what would the H86 longsword do besides that? As actually both the Skeletors seem to be opting to disengage that longsword, but this one actually re-engages and the other one does as well. As I'll just have to wonder, where's the other H86 longsword? I mean, just where is it? As it's actually one of the longswords crashing into the ground. I was anticipating that actually. And now it'll be easier for the CT Skeletor 3v3 to nail the remaining H86 longsword before its fuel runs out, or its ammo, or both. Because let's be honest, in testing that happened a lot. We ran out of ammo a lot. Anyway, I should be focusing on what's happening on screen, because otherwise I'm not a very good commentator, am I? It's one of the Skeletors, of course, gunning on the H86 longsword, and let's see what the damage is. So far we have just a slight bit of hits, 1 or 2 bullet holes. But that's not really going to matter if the H86 longsword will survive. Or if the Skeletor, of course, cannot aim properly, which, let's be honest here, the Skeletor isn't aiming properly. Skeletor actually now firing again on the H86 longsword and again missing all of its shots. I mean, does it just want to fail this flight test? Probably doesn't want to, as it still remains in the wake of the H86 longsword. Still trying to gun it down, but both the CT Skeletors not having much in the way of luck hitting this remaining H86 longsword. Did I just say H86 longsword twice? Because that's obviously the CT Skeletor. Oh, how dumb I am today. I swear to God, sometimes just being overly excited for making a video also messes with making a video. How to eliminate a Schanik, how to take out a Schanik, of course not being the best example of that. Still one of my favorite videos that I've made to date. As just the Skeletors are trying, but are failing to get a shot on point. And this is pretty much why I favor the M230s over the Vulcans, because once you get a hit with the M230s, which obviously have more numbers in terms of guns allowed this season, you're going to score more damage as compared to the Vulcans. The Vulcans, of course, having the higher hit rate, but let's be honest here, it's just going to lose bullets faster. And in a competition where there are no missiles, it's going to hamper you a lot, doesn't it? As it is the Skeletor trying to get hits, and I swear to God, it has. But just not in the way of actually exploding shit on the H86 longsword. As the CT Skeletors are still trying. Let's be honest here. They have this one in the bag, they just have to take out the remaining H86 longsword, which is showing some more bullet holes. So let's be honest, that is a good sign for the future. Trying to take out the H86 longsword. Let's actually fly on board with one of the Skeletors again, because flying on board with the H86 longsword has become slightly boring. And we are still trying to get some hits on the H86 longsword. You can see the vibration in the Skeletors, which I did not manage to fix by tweaking the AI. I couldn't get it to get more stable and yet stay maneuverable enough to get still some hits on the H86 longsword as we switch to the older Skeletor, which we see actually also has some bullet holes, as finally they score a hit. Thank God that they score a hit. You don't want to sit here for an hour. This episode without this video has already taken 45 minutes. It's so close though. Both the craft so close to the remaining H86 longsword, as some more gunfire goes to said aircraft, but it's just not hitting. The Vulcans, if you ask me, Vulcans being the inferior gun in this season of the Cedara fight competition. But if you ask Dungeon 92, he'll disagree. Come on, man. This longsword is damaged. Come on, it has to be easy now. It has to be way easier than before to get a hit on this HA6 longsword. Although the longsword gets more maneuverable and better at dodging once it loses its tail, which it's contradictory to what you'd like from an aircraft, doesn't it? As also the control surfaces have gone, all control surfaces gone. Surely won't be long for at least some damage to occur on the H86 longsword, whether that be from crashing into the ground or from another hit of those 20mm vocals. And it is crashing into the ground that the remaining H86 longsword opts for, as the CT Skeletor does something that you did not do in testing. It beats the H86 longsword. Let's move on to a new competitor in this season of Cedara fight competition. Let's meet the craft made by Dundun93. And that next craft is from another new entrant to the series, as we welcome Dundun93 and his Sea Trimmer 1. And it looks, to me at least, that it's quite in the same style of the stock planes of KSP. But I'm not providing any negative commentary on this build style. It's just, I mean, it's just weird to me, the fact that he builds in the style of the stock KSP craft. But hey, if he likes that, then sure. The Sea Trimmer, well, I can't really see any obvious flaws on it at first look. Maybe the positioning of the RTG weapon manager and AI could be a slight bit risky, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll get taken out for it, as besides competition. And it will be the question if the Sea Trimmer will get taken out, or will actually beat both the H86 longswords. It will be very interesting to see. One thing's for sure, the Sea Trimmer 1 gets off the ground quicker than the H86 longsword. It's actually, it looks quick at least, coming off the ground. Also looks a slight bit unstable, and it looks to be turning a lot. At least rolling a lot, over-rolling even. Well, the competition starts, as I tried to say well at the same time in the same words, which didn't come out well. And it's actually a pretty nice top speed from the Sea Trimmer, as it fires the guns on the H86 longsword and the longsword fires back. The Sea Trimmer preferring to take attitude over the H86 longsword, and is immediately turning towards its rival. Of course, trying to take it out as soon as possible, because that looks well, it looks nice on the record, doesn't it? Because the sooner you take them out, the less chance you have at damage, and the less chance you have at damage, the more chance you have at taking them out, right? At least that's how I view it. It's actually the H86 longsword on the back of one of the Sea Trimmers, which is an unfortunate coincidence, coming with the fact that both Sea Trimmers were assaulting the same H86 longsword. But it won't matter if it actually gets some damage on the H86, which it cannot, as it actually flies alongside its wingman. The wingman of the H86 longsword pretty much having free reign over the Sea Trimmers right now, which could turn out to be quite unfortunate and quite bad. However, the Sea Trimmer does have the maneuverability advantage on the H86 longsword, allowing it to escape the longsword's wrath, for now at least. It's clear that the longsword will have more chance firing in a straight line as it does right now. The C-turner behind it actually firing on it. Pretty much looks like it will be forming a death train any moment now. as I like to call these occurrences. The longsword actually not being able to get a shot off the C-turner which you're flying on board with, as the wingman of the C-turner is still trying to take out the longsword. The longsword nearly flying into the terrain there, but the AI deciding against smashing its plane into the ground, as the other C-trimmer right here is actually closer to the longsword, as the longsword does its weird maneuverability slash defending dance, which has proven to be well executed, as the longsword, well, has no damage still. This longsword firing on the C-trimmer, maybe even looking to get some hits off, but its maneuverability will most certainly hamper it from doing it, as you can see here. C-trimmer, and it's pretty much the C-trimmer's to lose, to be honest. It's still trying to take out one of the longswords. The longsword still taking no damage, at least no, not losing any parts. The design of the H86 longsword, it being kind of small, proving to be an advantage for it right now. Ooh, that was very, very close, nearly mid-air collision. This is why the AI doesn't prefer head-ons, I guess. As both the C-trimmers again leave one of the H86 longswords alone, at least for a little bit. This could basically be a case of the fact that the longswords are left alone for too long. Let's see how much ammo it has left still. It is 100 liquid fuel and 700 ammo left on those Vulcans, as it's finally scores a hit on the H86 longsword. Repositioning the camera a little bit weirdly there. I'm sorry for that. It fires slightly in front, and only slightly in front of the H86 longsword. And there goes the tail. And one of the engines, and actually it's all of the engines, gone from one of the H86 longswords. As the C-trimmer scores at least a little bit of a victory there. One of the longswords disabled now, and the other also suffering damage and flying into the ground. It is a flight inspection pass for the C-trimmer 1. It's struggling initially to fire on the H86 longswords, but eventually its endurance proved to be very crucial, as both the longswords have been taken out. And it's a lovely flight test pass by Dun93. Congratulations. Congratulations on entering CFC Season 4. As we move on to the next craft, which will be by Zenair. And that craft by Zenair is named the Sparrowhawk. But it may as well be named the Reverse P-38 Lightning. At least for this very odd layout. Placing control surfaces in front of the cabin there. I'm sure Anwin here doesn't appreciate that. But it doesn't matter, since it's flown by an AI, not a Kerbal or a human. The Sparrowhawk here, one of the weirder craft of the season. And it looks, of course, to avenge its comrades Bumblebee and the other one. I just want to look here at the name. I've forgotten it already. Yeah, the Stingray, as it looks to avenge the Bumblebee and the Stingray from last season, which did not have too well of a main competition. But hey, if If Zenair manages to improve here with the Sparrowhawk and the upgraded Stingray, we'll be very happy to welcome him as maybe even one of the winners of the 4th season of the Starfighter competition. That is just all rumors though, as the Sparrowhawk has yet to beat the HHS Longsword and thus beat the flight test as it takes off first. And then of course the Longswords take off. Sparrowhawk, it's just, I adore this layout, especially from the back and from the front, actually from all angles. This is one of the crafts that I can just look at for hours. I mean, I'm just a guy that can appreciate this kind of thing. It just looks so odd and it looks so beautiful. So beautiful. Constantly looking at this thing. But eventually we'll have to stop looking at it, as it's actually a great initial turn from the Sparrowhawk, but it struggles on actually maintaining the turn. As we start to engage with the H86 Longsword within 5 kilometers now, but of course we'll only fire the guns within 2,500 meters. As there they actually go, those appearing to be 2 Vulcans firing on the Sparrowhawk, as they also dodged the fire from the HHX Longsword with those lovely anti-30s. The Sparrowhawk now turning on one of the Longswords. It's actually the rightmost Longsword, which it has picked as a target, firing those Vulcans and trying to shoot it out of the air pretty much immediately. Employing to use very short bursts compared to some craft. Of course, trying to conserve ammo. Zenair being one of the people apparently who thinks about that kind of thing. Conserving ammo and such. As it's actually one of the Sparrowhawks disengaging a Longsword and then trying to engage this HA6 Longsword, which the other Sparrowhawk is also trying to destroy, and it has done a pretty good job at it, but I've also seen some explosions on that Sparrowhawk. This could very well end up to be a very, very close battle here. Let's see what exploded. Oh, of course it's nothing. No, it's one of the yaw control surfaces which has actually given up on life here, and also one of the top intakes. The Longsword pretty much scoring some very, very unimportant and irrelevant hits there on the Sparrowhawk, as it's still able to fire all of the engines and actually turn on the Longsword, and also cause some damage on the second Longsword. The Longsword losing all its yaw control here. This is a very, very fun battle and a very, very good battle for the Sparrowhawk, as it proves as this Sparrowhawk is pretty much promising a lot here. It's taking out the Longswords very, very fast, as the second Longsword now has also lost the entirety of its tail and all control surfaces. We've seen, of course, previously from the Longsword that it's pretty resilient, and it basically still fly as long as it has its engines, which the Sparrowhawks will of course try to take out right now. The cabin of course being the greater prize here. But that was a very, very, very good aiming from the Sparrowhawk, as I messed up my grammar once again. Sparrowhawk once again making the pass on the stricken and running out of air Longsword here. Longsword of course managing to pull up, which we've seen from earlier battles. It can do nicely. I'm just going to put that on an inline control surface inline control surface, well, inline reaction wheel, which I've placed within the cabin of the H86 longsword. But yeah, as you can see, the longsword is still pretty much in this fight, but not for long, as it loses its intake and thus its engines. And it'll have to accept defeat now, as does the other longsword, which has already landed onto the ground. Let's see. Nope, the other longsword gets destroyed. Their Spiral Hawks are very, very happy, only suffering from minor damage. Let's move on to the next craft, which is also by Zenair, as you've seen in the craft list. We'll have to take a look at the upgraded Stingray. And here it is, the Stingray, now with some updates. And as you can see, it is actually some AP Plus updates which have gone into the Stingray, as it will also try to defeat the H86 longsword. Something which I'm noticing right now, actually, it's the Vulcans mounted at an angle. That's a very interesting strategy there from Zenair. But the last craft has gone well, so maybe the Stingray will fare better this time too. As I'm actually very interested to see what the Stingray will do. One of the returning entries, along with the BV Goshawk MK230, and well, yeah, those are pretty much the only returning contestants, returning airframes for PFC. Wow, PFC for CFC Season 4. I have to start the competition. I'm pretty much expecting the Stingray to take off first here, which so yeah, it does, of course. Longsword following shortly after. And I've gotta say, man, the Stingray, it's kind of a beautiful craft now, actually, with those AP Plus updates. It's actually it's better. It's nicer to look at than the original Stingray from CFC Season 3. But of course the Stingray is still sporting those those control surfaces on the front of the wing. One of the things which you can distinguish the Stingray by from other craft. Of course, also it using the Mark II fuselages, and here it's 2 intakes. These are just all things that Zenair actually mounted last season as well, but it's pretty characteristic for Stingray, as it is time to engage right now. The gun's firing only at 2,000 meters this time, and it was a gun hit sound there for one of the Stingrays, or was it one of the longswords? I won't know until they explode. But yeah, I don't see any significant damage from the Stingray there. Oh, it's actually there. It's a hit on the cockpit. Ah, so it was for one of the Stingrays. The Stingray now firing on the H86 longsword. Ooh, again, some great initial turning here from one of the Zenair entries. Some more firing. I'm pretty confident that you can aim well here. It's actually rather close. The longswords right now. Longsword, it's a single longsword from Hojoz. And it's actually 150 meters, closer than 150 meters, as the indicators disappear and then reappear as the Stingray disengages and opts for a different strategy. The other Stingray also trying to assault the longsword's wingman, as there the gunfire goes. But it's actually also an assault from the other H86 longsword. As one of the Stingray again has to disengage the H86 longsword. Stingray now being able to re-engage and again fire some guns at it. Maybe the gun position on that Vulcan, those Vulcans are slightly disadvantageous, as this is not as good on the aiming as the previously seen Sparrowhawk. The Stingray's wingman there on the other H86 Longsword 6, as it's actually Stingray taking damage. It is one of the Tiger engines along with a Mark 0 fuselage and one of your control services saying goodbye to the main craft. As it's actually the H86 coming very, very close, but not close enough to do any more damage to the Stingray. The other Stingray very close to the long sword. Ooh, they're so damn close. Just a slight bit more aiming and it can do some real wonders there, as it's nearly mid-air collision with the other H86 longsword, as that longsword goes after the hampered and crippled Stingray. Oh, it is actually the Stingray not being able to engage the H86 longswords in this part of the battle, but I've spoken too soon once more, as it fires the guns on the H86 longsword, it yet still having to get a hit on it. It's getting oh so damn close every time though. Promises at least something for the Stingrays. I think that was actually the other Stingray firing on the H86 longsword at the top of the screen there just now. As, come on man, Stingray, just got a little bit outsmarted by the H86 longsword, as I can confirm that it is the longsword with damage. One of the longsword has damage, and it has pretty significant damage. Those are the engines. Yes, those are indeed the engines, and one of the wings of one of the longswords, as the other hampered Stingray is still able to engage the H86 longsword viewed right here. Fine. And it suffers a slight bit on the aiming side, which I can of course blame on one of the Tiger engines being gone. But it still fares a little bit of a chance, at least I'd guess. The other Stingray are also joining into the fray, as the Stingray has unfortunately had to disengage. The hampered Stingray also not finding the H86 longsword, but it actually does right now. It's just a slight bit too much of the maneuverability on that, but it's getting so close. Yes, it's again the tail, it's gone. It won't be a matter of time before the final H86 longsword will be killed, and the Stingray will pass the flight inspections. Stingray not having as easy of a battle as the Sparrowhawk, but it most certainly is a very, very good airframe and a very, very good craft. As the Stingray heading for height actually, and it's the H86 longsword still trying something against the Stingray 2s. Come on Stingray, you can do it. Just take out the engines, you'll be fine. Oh, that is so close. They were nearly flying side by side there, as the gunfire goes and doesn't actually hit the longsword, but as you can see, there are some bullet holes on the H86. It's surely only a matter of time before it gets defeated. It only has 33 units of liquid fuel remaining, and well, the Stingray has a lot. It has a lot. It just has this one in the bag, doesn't it? is the H86 tumbling towards the ground. But we of course know from the earlier flight test that the H86 longsword doesn't give up immediately. And it also has the control surfaces left still, so of course it will still be able to move at least slightly. But that's, and the fuel gone? No, that's actually, it's the fuel tank shot out. The fuel tank has been shot out for the H86 along with one of the control surfaces. And it is over. It is the Stingray 2 taking a flight inspection pass on the first try. Which I just want to highlight. Zenair had to actually consume both his tries on both the Bumblebee and the Stingray last season. But he passes the flight test this time with flying colors on the first time, not having to modify anything. I just want to highlight that. It's just a minor victory for Zenair in plane building, but it's a pretty huge victory if you actually look at it, as that is the longsword hitting the one. Congratulations Zenair, winning both of your entries past first time. We've seen differently sometimes. Next up is it's just one of the crafts that I'm very hyped about. I gotta be honest here. It's one of the crafts that is not necessarily going to be a top competitor, but it is most certainly one of the weird ones. Actually, the last two, which I'll show, are just so weird. And I love that. You know I love that. Let's get on to the TF6 Mamba. Two kitties, two tigers, and a GAU on a chassis which features wings so flat that they come from World War II, and a very high tail. Max Byte and KSP must have thought, well, if we're gonna collab on one craft, then we pretty much will go all out. It's basically the description of the TFD 6 Mamba, which is the craft that we'll inspect next. And by the way, yes, the GAU is set to a maximum engagement range of 2480 meters, which by the way, a video which I recorded earlier, it had it set to 4000 meters, which maybe is a slight bit of an issue on my TEF inspection bit size thing, which could be a stupid thing, but it could also be simply because I had to tuck in these wings a slight little bit, which could then have reset the GAU 8 range somehow. I mean, we know KSP, we all know KSP, don't we? So I'll assume that, because, well, it's also the advantage of Max Byte and KS5. Anyway, let's start the competition and see how it will fare against the H86 longsword with just a single GAU 8, which is quite a weird choice. As the Mamba takes off first, followed by the H86 longsword, which tries to be an F86 Saber replica, but let's be honest here, it's not an F86 Saber replica. It's basically an F86 ripoff, isn't it? And that's why it's called longsword, by the way, because it tries to be an F86 Saber. Anyway, we are nearing the part where the planes turn to engage each other, as actually, on command, they do turn and engage each other, as it is time to see how the Mamba will fare against the H86 longsword, both using 30mm guns, but the H86 opting to use 4M230s instead, as there the guns fire. There are short bursts on the GAU 8, on the GAU ENTRY from the TFD6 members, as one of the craft actually doesn't even opt to engage a longsword in the initial engagement, rather opting to engage one later and coming onto the tail of it, as the GAU does its short burst thing and the H86 longsword is on its tail. Yeah, that's what happens if your wingman cannot cover the other longsword, as it's just a slight bit of GAU fire towards the other H86 longsword, pretty much as a deterrent, because now the Mamba can engage on one of the longswords instead of two. It's firing GAUs, but not really hitting the longsword, doing its longsword maneuvering slash avoiding dance, of course. The H86 very known for its avoiding dance and the fact that it doesn't need control surfaces to fly. I love that about it. It's just one of those things that is very significant about it. But let's just focus on the fact that Mamba is having a slight bit of an issue trying to take down the H86 longsword. It's firing, well, the GAU, the single GAU, and the single GAU is not hitting. However, it's getting really close to the H86 longsword, within 150 meters. However, doesn't really mean anything if you turn away. But the longsword's actually there, nearly hitting the deck, as it's actually a longsword taking damage of those lovely GAU 8s, or well, one GAU 8. Let's see what the damage is here. It is a loss of yaw control and loss of roll control on the 86 longswords, as that will struggle to keep into the air. The other perfectly healthy longsword trying to engage this Mamba, but the wingman trying to encourage it to disengage or fly over the other Mamba, allowing both the Mambas to engage one of the longswords. It's a 2v1. We all know what happens with 2v1s. It's mostly a win for the party with 2. Hey, sometimes some surprising things can happen, as that's actually one of the Mambas nearly crashing into the other. Nicely done, AI, as there the tail goes, and it's nothing more, not any other damage. Yeah, this is the kinda healthy longsword, and then this is the longsword which lost its tail. Oh, also the roll control surfaces. So this is a longsword without control surfaces. We all know what happens with longswords without control surfaces. They are very fucking resilient. Oh no, I just said a swear word in my video, so YouTube's gonna demonetize it and discourage everyone from watching. Don't you love the algorithm? Don't you love the GAUs? Is the question rather, as the Mambas are still trying to engage and kill both the H86 longswords. Or, well, why kill if you can disable them? I mean, an H86 being disabled, that cannot do any real damage either. As there the tail of the second longsword goes, and it is the first longsword trying to engage our TFD6 Mamba, but failing. And it is the Mamba trying to engage the H86 longsword. Now it's just trying to engage the TFD6 Mamba, which is trying to engage an H86 longsword probably. Yeah, it's all a big death loop there. Yeah, yeah, it's actually a TF6 trying to engage one of the longswords, as it's a longsword that lost both its engines. And we know what happens to longswords that lose both its engines. They're pretty much out. And we also know what happens to longswords that pull up just in time. Exactly. They get some GAUs to the face. As it is a member, again, engaging. However, this longsword is looking to be faster than the member. What is this? What are these shenanigans? It's flying to the ground. Goodbye. And it's a victory for the TFT 6 member. Or what? No! No! It bounced off the ground, and it's fine! It's fine! The HG86 longsword just bounces off the ground like the ground is a trampoline or a bouncy castle, whatever you prefer, and just flies up into the air to engage one of the members. Actually, sensational stuff from the HG86 longsword, but it is also sensational stuff from the TFT6 member, and as it has yet to put a few more shots into the HG86 longsword, which will then surely mean that the HG86 longsword is doomed and is going to die. Not yet though, as the member chooses to disengage and leave the other member to it. Oh, it's actually the member re-engaging now. And me having the camera way too close to the member. Actually, the member actually doesn't lose speed while firing its GAUs, crucially. But it's actually... What? Oh no, is it just throttled down? Or did it just disengage its... No, it's not throttled down, it just lost all fuel. That's a thing that's crucial for this member, for these members. But it's not crucial for long though, as the HG86 longsword just crashed into the ground, or the ocean, gives up, and basically acknowledges the fact that the member is the superior plane, but only just. And as it runs out of fuel, as the HG86 longsword crashed into the ground. That could be crucial, you know. The TFT6 member could have an issue in the fact that it doesn't have as much fuel. We'll have to see in the main competition, as the last flight inspection is coming here. I opted to only show you all flight inspections of the submissions by you, rather than the submissions by me, because maybe the Idori is so bad at rolling that it crashed into the ground, and thus if you don't see it, then you don't know it, but I just said it, so that's pretty dumb. Then the H153, you'll have to wait for that. The Charmander, you'll also have to wait for that. And then finally it's a mysterious plane, which at the moment I still don't know what I want to create. We'll see though. Mamba. The Mamba will see the ocean grounds as we move on to the next craft. Say hello to 50 cal, nose lower than back. Madness. This is the Wasp. And Random User Mayo opted to use the 1250 cals. I mean, A for effort there. I mean, the 50 cals aren't necessarily competitive for my testing, but the advantage of the 50 cals may be that the 50 cals can be spread out more and thus are more likely to hit. I suspect that there is at least a competitive reason behind the choice for the 50 cals. But 50 cals, man? Why 50 cals? Let's just see if these 50 cals can beat the HG86 at M230s. I mean, they're on completely the opposite end of the spectrum. M230s and 50 cals. 50 cals are fucking underpowered. And then the GAUs and the M230s are the most OP. Are the most OP guns in this season. At least the M230 is. Why do I say M230 and not Vulcan? Well, I am thoroughly convinced that because of my balancing, it is the M230 that is the superior gun compared to the Vulcan. As the Wasp turns to engage the H86 longsword, but may I just refer to it as 50 cal madness for now? From now, I'm sorry. I mean, who in their sane minds opts to use 50 cals? As the 50 cals go to work on the H86 longswords. Who does that? He even incorporated a radar! I didn't spot that at first, I thought it was a normal nose cone, but he even incorporated a radar! What is this madness? Is this Sparta? Jeez! So it's horribly unstable trying to aim those guns as well. There should have been some more steer damping on this thing, but apparently was needed according to Random User Mayo. That's odd. That's an odd one. As there the 50 cals go. Why 50 cals? Why on this plane? How in the world is this going to beat the HG86? Come on, I'm still just hammering on the fact that it's using 50 cals. Come on, man, what is this madness? It's suffering from repeated hits. Might actually be a good choice. No, I refuse to accept this. It's the longsword. It's a longsword actually flying to the ocean. What is this madness? It shouldn't be happening. Come on, Wasps. Please, go on. Go on. Beat the remaining HG86. Beat it to death. Of course you have to beat it. Of course you have to kill it to beat it. Just beat it to death. Do it. This is a very, very good end to the video. What is this madness? The Wasps are just firing on themselves at this point. How is this going to achieve victory against the HG86? It's going to drive them into the ocean? No, it's going to drive itself into the ocean. No! This can't be happening! He has 6,000 fucking bullets! Oh no, more than monetization. He has 6,000 bullets! On the craft, that should be enough! Surely! Surely the Wasp can't beat the remaining HG86! Surely not! It's all over it! If the Wasp had any other gun, literally any other gun allowed, as competition apart from, of course, the 50 cal turrets, surely it would have taken out the H86 longsword by now, because this is actually a very good platform, a bit unstable, but a very, very good guns platform. And why does it use the 50 cal? Why did it use the 50 cal? Half this flight test is going to be me asking why it used the 50 cal. Why the 50 cal? It's going to also crash into the ocean. I'm going to have to count the flight test pass on that. I can't believe I just passed the 50 cal entry. What is this madness? The 50 cal entry passed. I mean, okay, it flew the H86 into the ocean. Fatal flaw on the H86 there, but it passes. It's 50 cals. The unstable guns platform, which is actually a pretty good guns platform, passes with 50 cals. Is this reality? Or is this just fantasy? Call it a landslide. No escape from reality. Jeez. Oh. Well then, that's going to be the end of the video. Let's just peacefully and awesomely listen to Bureaucratic with Boys Bob. Because Bureaucratic is the best artist out there and Boys Bob is the best song out there. I mean, I don't agree with that anymore. But at the time, I thought Boys Bob was the best song out there. Maybe I should change that song, that outro song. Not that anyone watches this, everyone wants to watch the Minecraft video that I'm still having to record. But yeah, Bureaucratic Boys Bob, I'm out!